Welcome back to my channel Beyond the Blur, where I talk about the psychological and emotional part of our vision loss journey. So today I'm going to be talking about the loneliness. The loneliness that no one sees coming after you begin to go through your vision loss journey. And after you lose your vision, wherever you are, especially if you lost a significant amount of your vision where you're either legally blind, you're blind, and you lost a little bit of your independence where you can't get out and about on your own. But just really in general, just talking about the loneliness that can come and can stem from our vision loss. And it's real. You know, it's really real. When we go through this vision loss journey, you know, if you're being honest with yourself, and we always ask, well, how do I tell my family and what do I tell my friends or whatever? And it's almost like, you know, if you tell them or if you don't tell them, that sometimes it's the same outcome. And what do I mean by that? We're talking about loneliness, right? So it's like, if you don't tell them, then you're just isolated, right? And they don't know why you're not coming out anymore, why they're not seeing you around anymore, why you're not calling and trying to, you know, do events anymore, especially if you haven't really told them about your vision loss, or maybe you have or you haven't. So, and then if you do tell them, it's like the same result, right? Now people aren't inviting you places, or they feel strange or different about you can't get there because maybe they don't live close to you. So how are you going to get there? You're going to drive there if you really want to come, or, you know, or do they think about or want to think about how does that social activity or that outing is going to affect you. So it's really weird, but just naturally, you know, when I think about this and I think about, you know, my vision loss journey, I think that naturally you begin to feel a little isolation. And why do I say that? Because what happens? Let's talk about a couple of things that happen. Sometimes we have to stop working. You know, at that moment when it happens and it gets to that point when we lose our vision, or our vision loss got really progressive like mine did, we may have to stop working. We can't drive anymore. And so we're at home a lot more than maybe we used to be. And so sometimes it can get lonely, and the isolation, it happens naturally. And sometimes you're not doing it intentionally, but you become very isolated, you know, from what you used to do in life. Your social life, it maybe not be the same in the beginning, you know, and so you feel isolated, and you begin to feel lonely, because if you were an outgoing person or you worked outside the home, you're not going to work anymore, so you're not engaging socially with people. You're not having those adult conversations with people anymore, you know, and so it starts to sink in that you start to feel lonely and what's going on, and it's like, what's happening? And then, like I was saying, a little more in depth to it, your friends, people stop calling. I can't answer this question for you. I mean, we probably need to do some kind of focus group, right, guys? And really sit down with groups of people who are friends of people who are blind or lost their vision, and ask them and have a real discussion with them about why they stop calling you, why they stop coming around, why they stop inviting you to the things that they're not inviting you to anymore. Now all of a sudden everyone's going out, and, you know, you're looking on social media and you're seeing all the all the pictures and, you know, selfies, and it's like, whoa, no one told me about that. Why wasn't I invited? You know, and of course, and then, you know, that's on their end, but let's go on the other end, our side, right? You know, you're dealing with how you're feeling about going out. I mean, things are different, right? Just something simple as going out to eat with a friend at a restaurant or just to lunch or something can be a challenging situation. And particularly if you're low vision, you're completely blind, and you haven't learned how to navigate these type of environments yet, it can be scary, for us, because maybe we can't see our food, our plates, on the table, and we don't want to look like a fool, an idiot. We're out with our friends and we're not eating, or we're ordering something and we can't see the food on the plate, or we don't want to bother our friends or whatever and ask them, hey, can you tell me? Or maybe they don't know how to interact with a blind friend because they've never had a blind friend, and so, things happen, and sometimes the social anxiety sets in, what that looks like, what that feels like going out at night to go into dinner. I know for me, my husband and I, we love to go out to eat in different restaurants and everything. And so that was major for me, when I thought about how was I going to navigate that. And sometimes you don't know what's going to happen until you get out there in a situation and you're like, oh crap. What did I just walk into, right? Because you're thinking to yourself, if you're upbeat and you have my kind of personality where I'm just like, hey, I'm going to go out there and just going to jump right into it, right? And so you go out to dinner and you're at a restaurant for dinner, and the restaurant is like dark. I have low vision, so let me explain. I have low vision, so I have night blindness. So you take me outside these doors when it's nighttime, boy, I can't see anything. A glimpse of light, a light here, lights going on. If it's not any light anywhere, I can't see it. And so going to a restaurant in the beginning for dinner with my husband was like, it caused me so much anxiety. As I'm sitting there with this food in front of me. We're walking, not forget the food. Let's talk about before you even get to your table, to eat the food, like walking through the restaurant. What that feels like, what that looks like, you can't see. And he and I are both new to this, person, this guided, thing where I'm on his arm and he's walking me through the restaurant. We don't know what we're doing yet, right? We're just new. We're still trying to just live our life. And so walking through the restaurant, navigating through there just to get to your table to sit down, and heaven forbid there's no tables up front and you got to walk to the back of the restaurant. OMG, right? You're talking about anxiety going from 0 to 1,000 in like 3 seconds, so, all those things are happening. And so some of us, we just rather not deal with that, right? I get it. And so we go into isolation. And then what does isolation do? It causes loneliness, because now we're not going out with our friends, with our families. We're not going out into social activities anymore. We're not going to, I'm in Florida, so we're not going to Disney anymore because of the crowds, and we don't know what to expect if we go out into these environments, into these situations. And so we're at home more so than we used to be, and the loneliness sets in. No one's calling us anymore. No one's inviting us anymore, and we're lonely. And it makes us sad. And so it's real. It's a real thing, but we don't talk about that. Who goes around and says, hey guys, I'm lonely. No one wants to do that. And so instead we do the opposite. We just kind of sit at home and we don't talk. We don't call anybody. We don't say anything, because we don't want people to feel weird, around us and with us, because sometimes going out with us may come with some extra tasks, helping me, guiding me, telling me, explaining to me certain things that are there on the table, telling me something that's at the movie, and say, oh, if we don't have a really good system in our movie theater, you may have to go out and get food for me, the popcorn. It's just different things that may happen socially, and with other people that we don't want to be subjected to, because we don't want to feel a certain kind of way. And then we don't want to necessarily subject them to it, because then they may feel a certain kind of way, because you don't want to keep going out to dinner and asking them to tell me where your food is at, all this stuff, order for you. It's just weird. It's just a lot of things that come with it. But what I really want to tell you as a part of that is, because what really is happening with you psychologically and emotionally is that you're feeling that you're not worthy anymore. You're feeling that people don't love you and feel a certain way about you anymore. And that's not necessarily true, right? You're still worthy. You're still the same awesome person that you used to be before this happened. It's just now you have a little bit of impairment, a disability per se, that causes you to have to do things differently, right? And those who understand it, those who get it, your real friends, the family members that want to be around you and support you, those are the people you worry about. Those are the people you continue to stay in contact with. Those are the ones you continue to call, and they'll be there for you. The ones, they won't drop off. They won't get around you and act weird. They'll treat you like the same person you was. My girlfriend treats me like the same Shima that I was. She's gonna say the same things. She's gonna act the same way. You know, she's gonna still send me these messages on Instagram that I freaking can't see. But I'm going to play that video and I'm going to try to see it. But I want her to do that. I don't want her to stop being her, you know, when she's around me. I don't want my friends and my family to start being weird because, ooh, she's visually impaired. She's blind. She can't see. Oh my God. She's a freak of nature. Like, oh my God, don't do that to people. It's not okay. So, you know, I just want to talk about that really quickly today because, you know, isolation is real. And what I want to tell you to encourage you is to not isolate yourself. The loneliness comes because we isolate ourselves. We choose not to go out anymore. We choose not to engage with people anymore. We choose, you know, not to do the things that we love anymore because we're afraid of what people are going to think, what they're going to say, and how it's going to make you feel. I'm just encouraging you to just jump out there and do it, you know, despite, you know, the challenges, despite how it may make you feel, despite how it may look to other people. I want you to, you know, just understand that you're worthy. You deserve it. You deserve to be happy. And I don't want you to be isolated either. I don't want you to be lonely because we all need support and we all need our families and friends, right, to be with us. So thank you for joining me today. I hope these little tidbits and nuggets about loneliness and isolation was helpful for you. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and click that notification bell down there so you know the next time when I'm going to be posting something. Until next time, I'm Beyond the Blur. Talk to you soon. Toodles.